So, Mr. Goldberg, would you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, just put your hand down. Let's get a microphone. So, Mr. Goldberg, I believe we spoke back in January when your attorneys filed the waiver of jury trial. But you understand that you have a right to a jury trial. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you also have the ability to waive that right if you choose to do so. You understand that? I have a waiver of jury trial that's signed by you, indicating you'd like to waive your right to a jury trial. Does that still remain your desire?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody forcing, pressuring, threatening, or coercing you into waiving your right to a jury trial?
No, sir.
Does anybody promise you anything in exchange for your waiver of jury trial?
No, sir.
As you sit here in court today, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
Are you suffering from any mental health conditions that would affect your ability to understand your right to a jury trial and your ability to waive it?
No, sir.
Is it still your desire to waive your jury trial?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other inquiry? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goldberg. I have the amended information filed on October 10th, 2023. Was there a second amended information?
I believe that is the second immediate charge. I'm just verifying. Judge, the information. Yes, I think that I have one that's filed. There should be a second amended. The one I have pulled up is it's February 2nd, 2024. And it has 3 counts: attempted second, domestic battery by strangulation, and battery.
Got it. All right. I have that up. Are there, I know there were some pretrial motions that you all have worked out over the lifespan of the case. Are there any that remain pending that need rulings before we get going?
There were reserved rulings by the court, but none outstanding.
Anything from the defense perspective?
No, sir.
It appeared that a lot of the issues are issues that would be pertinent if there were a trial jury here. So I'm presuming we don't need to address them at this time, and you'll address them with timely objections if and when they become relevant.
I think that's what defense and I had discussed, yes.
Yes, sir.
They're not going to cause mistrials, so we can just address them as they come.
Okay. All right.
That's fine.
All right, so with that being said, you all have the ability to do an open statement if you wish. So we turn the stage. Just you need to make sure you're by a microphone. Our microphones are a little bit, they've been difficult lately, so you have to be right by them.
All right, Judge, brief open.
Sure.
Good morning, Your Honor. This case is about a situation that happened on April 24th of 2022. It was what is colloquially termed as Boca Bash. And what you will hear throughout testimony is that the defendant, Cole Goldberg, and the victim, Caroline Schwitzsky, were in a dating relationship. They arrived at Boca Bash. They spent the day with friends. They were consuming alcohol. And throughout that day, arguments arose. The defendant threw a can at the victim. And at some point, she reaches a juncture where she says, "This is over." And she swims away. And she's swimming. Her intention is to swim to the shore. She is not really sure of how to get to the shore. And so she comes across a boat that's occupied by several people, 4 of which you'll hear testimony from. And these 4 people have never met this woman. They've never met the defendant. Up to them. There's only one of them left in the water, because at this point they're ready to kind of pack up and leave. He says he's enjoying the last few minutes in the water. She comes up and she asks him if she can hold on to his flotation device. And we say flotation device, it's like a pool noodle. I believe, that he is using. And while she's holding on to it, everybody on the boat is close enough that they can all speak. She seems tired, she seems upset, and she's standing there. What they don't, or swimming there with that noodle. What they don't see, and what the victim doesn't see, is that after the victim had jumped into the water and began swimming, the defendant also jumped in and began to swim after her. And this is witnessed by another boat that had a few males on it. Those males had seen some arguing throughout the day. They had noticed the victim. The victim was a young woman wearing a bathing suit. They noticed her, and they had seen some issues. They saw her swimming, and then they saw him pursue after quite quickly. And so out of nowhere, to the 4 people on this boat and the victim, the defendant comes up from behind her, grabs her shoulder neck area, and submerges her in the water. And seconds go by, and seconds go by, and seconds go by, until everybody that's watching this happen realizes that this isn't going to stop. So Mr. Paris, who's in the water with her, pulls her out from under the water. You'll hear that he then, the defendant, tried to kind of pursue again. And it took Mr. Alexander Terepchuk on the boat, threatening him with a boat hook to stay away from her. These 4 people on this boat and the other 2 are all going to testify today, or tomorrow and Wednesday. And they're going to tell the court what they saw in their own eyes. Not every single one of them saw every single detail, and the court knows each person has their own perspective. Each person brings in their own things. Some people noticed certain details, others noticed others. But they all agree that this was not someone asking somebody else to save them. They all agree that this was not somebody seeking a life-saving device and using a person instead, which can be done, but that this was not that. They will testify to his face, his facial expressions, his demeanor. They will testify how he reacted after. They will testify that he swam away and then swam back to that boat. And when he swam back, that's when they notified FWC. FWC was the law enforcement agency patrolling that day, and Florida Fish and Wildlife, I don't believe, has the services to have enough local officers take care of this event of this magnitude. So they have local or out-of-county volunteers in FWC work this event. And almost every single FWC officer that was out on scene that day had never experienced a domestic violence incident. They've never investigated a domestic violence incident. They are FWC officers tasked with, most of the time, boating incidents, fishing incidents. And they all, had to kind of work this investigation that was brought on them. They were patrolling the area and flagged down. And so you'll also hear, in addition to Matthew Paris, Sherilyn Paris, Rachel Terepchuk, Alexander Terepchuk, Anthony Bullen, Lloyd Whiting, civilian witnesses that do not know these people. You will also hear from 2 officers on the state side, Dylan Hudson and Damon Pulaski, and you will hear from Caroline Schwitzsky. We obviously have the burden to prove the attempted second-degree murder, and I know the court knows the elements and has them readily available, as well as domestic battery by strangulation and the battery of that can throwing. And we do believe that after the court has heard all of this evidence, it will return the verdict of guilty.